Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
It is clobbering time here on the July 17, 2025 edition of WrestleRant Radio, 14-year anniversary of WWE's Money in the Bank 2011 pay-per-view. Of course, one of my favorite shows of all time. Very fitting here today that we have one of my shows, one of the shows that I'm looking forward to the most with Mr. Marceau. A lot to discuss from the weekend of wrestling that was. All In, Saturday night's main event, Evolution on Sunday, a great Raw on Monday, and so much more to get into. So fitting it falls on this anniversary here today, and probably something to a bit to rant about. Maybe not as much as to complain about as Goldberg from this past week, but we'll get into that as well. Mr. Marceau, brother, what's going on?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I am doing okay. And like I said, we have a lot to discuss here today, so we'll get into that momentarily, including the chat. The chat had some questions for you as we get going here. I know Johnny had some things to ask, and I'll bring that up in a moment. Mr. Marceau is here. You don't see him here at the moment. He's in transit, but he is joining us via audio, so he is here, of course, on the show, as you just heard there. If you have any questions, comments, let us know in the chat as we get going here on this fine early Thursday morning. And just be sure to let us know, and I'll address it in a little bit. That being said, though, new episodes of WrestleRant Radio every single Thursday on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, right here on YouTube in video form, and all major podcast platforms. Shout out to the channel members, Alexis, Miss Mon Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1, at Swerve1 on IG, Daniel Malcolm, at letter I, letter M, letter Quarter on X. I'm Quarter on X. Mr. Marceau himself as well, at RJ_Marceau on Twitter. John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube. Red Planet Wrestling, that is Richie here on YouTube as well. Check out his channel. And last but not least, Average Grunt, who had a lot to say this past weekend to myself and Mr. Marceau about everything that went on. And I know him and Mr. Marceau were hoping for me to have a meltdown here on the show or on Tuesday's hashtag with Goldberg winning and Jon Moxley winning and Io Sky retaining, which I would have been completely content with. None of those things ended up happening. Even Mercedes Moné, which was not a result that I would have been, super upset with. Even that ended up not happening. Toni Storm retained her championship. Mr. Marceau, before we get into anything specifically, what do you have to say to yourself? How are you recovering from the weekend with all those results going either as you expected or maybe not exactly as you were hoping?
That's why when you ask me, I said I'm just doing all right. If you ask me, just bad book all around.
Bad booking all around from all these companies or specifically WWE? Because the Io Sky title loss. I mean, we did expect it to be Rhea Maivia taking the title, and I did say to you, and I was wrong. I was wrong in several outcomes, actually. I was wrong about the All In ending. I was wrong about Naomi maybe even cashing, and that wasn't even a thought in our minds. Does the Io Sky one still sting more than most?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been that mad in a while, so, I mean, I had like a 5-year-old tantrum, so we've moved on from there, but I wasn't happy in the moment.
It's only been a couple days. The wound is still fresh. Like I said, we'll get into it in mere minutes here on the show, but I will address the chat here as we get going. Shout out to Fernando saying Buenos Dias. WrestleRant, Fernando, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining as always. Johnny saying bonjour. Johnny's got two questions for you, Mr. Marceau. Starting with, he asked, what was your show and match of the weekend?
Me specifically? Jesus.
Yeah, and also, you know what? I'll throw you a bonus.
I mean, I didn't really...
Well, I was going to say, you didn't catch all of All In, obviously, but I will also include Raw from Monday as well for you.
Oof, that's a tough one. I mean, I didn't watch All In. I just saw like clips on social media, and then you were just texting me, so I didn't see any of that. So I can't really give you anything from that show. I mean, I would say it's either Becky, Lyra, and Bailey, or I mean, Io and Rhea before Naomi came was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bailey and Lyra is really good on Raw as
Mm-hmm.
well. I don't know. I picked one of those three probably. I mean, I thought Evolution overall was a very solid show. I thought all the matches were pretty good. To Gray, I mean, I thought that even JC Jane and Jordan Grace, which I had zero care in the world, I thought was really well. But I would say one of those three matches I named originally.
Yeah, no, honestly, any of the women's matches this weekend, including All In as well between Tony and Mercedes, I enjoyed that matchup too. Even Athena and Thunder Rosa had a really good match on Friday at the Supercard of Honor show. But yeah, no, I thought all the three matches that you mentioned were great. The triple threat was very, very good. I thought Rhea and Io was one of the best matches of the year, honestly, so far, including the cash-in. You don't want to include the cash-in? I'm going to include the cash-in. I love the ending, so that match was awesome. And like you said, that 2 out of 3 falls match, not to be forgotten because it did fall on Monday and not technically the weekend. But between Bailey and Lyra, that 2 out of 3 falls match, number one contenders for the women's IC title, was also a great match, with Lyra now going on to face Becky one more time for that women's Intercontinental Championship. Speaking of which, Nathaniel asked, do you think that Lyra is going to go on to take that title back from Becky at SummerSlam? He was asking you.
She better. Triple H is going to kill me.
We've loved the feud so far. It has played out logically. The only way it culminates is with Lyra taking that championship. If there's anything that the two of us can agree on from the past couple days, it is that Lyra's got to beat Becky.
Yeah, definitely.
But do you think Becky puts herself over?
Like you mentioned it a few weeks back. I mean, I think hands down their best year. Like, this is almost going on 6 months of just a really, really good feud. So, I mean, they've done good with these two, but they've had amazing chemistry, adding Bailey in there as well. But like you said, it has to end with Lyra beating Becky at SummerSlam.
It has to, yeah. No, definitely their feud of the year so far, as we've said before. Great matches and great promos, too, and I've really enjoyed what they've done with all three women since the start of the feud. Speaking of shows, Johnny also asked you, will you be watching UFC 318?
I just shadow boxed a little bit in my car. I don't know if I'll be watching. I have to work tonight. We'll see. I mean, I definitely want to see the main event. But I haven't actually made plans yet because I have to work till probably 9-ish. So we'll see. I'm going on vacation to start a month. I have to. I'm saying, I'd probably say I'm leaning towards no because I have to leave early on Sunday because we're going away on vacation. So,
nice.
But I want to see the main event, but I don't think I'll be watching. I'm pulling for Dustin Poirier. I mean, his last fight. Love Holloway as well, but I mean, Poirier is my guy, so. Hopefully Poirier wins last fight, and we'll see what happens.
Is that so? It's tonight?
No, it's Saturday night.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Saturday night, but you were talking about. So you're working until 9 tonight, or on Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about tonight. I'm thinking that's a really weird day for a UFC pay-per-view. That makes sense. So you got UFC 318 on Saturday, then you got your vacation culminating in Boys Day with you and I seeing F1 next Saturday?
Exactly. There you go.
Sounds like an amazing week right there. Johnny also asked, rank these WTF moments. Jon Moxley's, which I'm sure you saw most of these, if not all of them, despite not watching the entire show. But he wanted to rank Jon Moxley's suplex on a spike bat, which I think would have been when he faced Cope a couple months ago. Hangman drinking blood, which I think was during the Swerve match. I mean, I think
Swerve.
Yeah, I thought it was Swerve who drank the blood. I don't think it was Hangman, but it was during one of those matches. And then also Hangman stabbing Moxley with a fork, which I know you saw because you texted me about it on Saturday. Can you rank those WTF moments?
I mean, from dumbest to the best, I mean, I would say the fork. I hate the fork spot. I think it's like the dumbest thing ever.
Me too.
So fork would be the dumbest. I guess the suplex on the bat, I guess I'll go second. The drink of the blood, whatever. I mean, it's kind of dumb, but whatever. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, no, the drinking of the blood, I think, was maybe the worst one because I thought that was pretty fucking disgusting, to be honest with you. The fork one, I hate, but we've seen it enough where I'm kind of like shockingly numb to it. And the suplex on a spike bat was also just stupid. So I'll probably share your same sentiment as far as the rankings are concerned. Johnny even said that Stevie Richards, I guess, said that Hangman versus Moxley was the greatest hardcore match ever, which, as someone who watched the match, I can attest to it being not the greatest hardcore match ever. It's not even the greatest hardcore match that Hangman's even had. But, I respect his opinion. Nathaniel asked what I thought of the Cope segment yesterday. I liked it. I thought it was a good segment personally, setting up the FTR match for down the road. Let's see. Nathaniel wants a Tom Brady Patriots jersey next month. He's going to his first Patriots game this year, right by good old Gillette Stadium, your favorite.
Poor guy.
Oh, this is a good question, because I know this pertains to you as well. Came out just last night, new Stranger Things Season 5 trailer. Did you catch it, he asked?
I saw majority of it. I actually didn't see the full thing. I saw like 2 minutes of the 2:30.
No, I was going to say, if you watched 2, I'm surprised you didn't catch the last 30 seconds. Not that there's anything major, but still.
No, basically what happened is Molly sent it to me and I was watching it, but then I was in the middle of playing Call of Duty, so then I just stopped watching.
That sounds like how you're going to watch the show. You're going to watch most of the season and then just stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I think it's like a couple episodes, and it's like a month and a couple episodes, so.
Yeah, pretty
We'll
much.
see.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I thought I saw the trailer, watched it with Alexis last night, thought it was good. We've talked about this before, but I thought season. I mean, I watched all of it earlier this year, so I didn't watch it like when it came out, like everyone else. But we binged the entire show a few months ago, and I thought season 4 was great. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Dillon said EO's title reign sucked.
Jesus Christ.
He said EO's title reign
Yes!
sucked. So I'm glad they gave the title to Naomi. See, he got you in the first. He got you in the first half there. I already told Dillon, because we were joking as Alexis and I were sitting next to each other the other day watching Raw. Dillon was like, "Oh, did RJ not like the ending with Naomi cashing in?" I said, "No, he did not. He wanted EO to retain. Whether it was Rhea or Naomi did not matter. He did not want the title off of EO." And he goes, "Well, why not? Because EO's title reign sucked." I said, "I know, but Mr. Marceau wanted her to retain so she could, improve upon that, you think?"
I mean, it's not her fault the booking was terrible. I mean, that's Triple H's fault.
He even said, shout out to Dillon, by the way, he also went on to say Triple H did not do EO justice with the way they booked her title reign.
The thing is, the best part is we talked about this yesterday. We talked about this like 2 days ago. Half the problem was they have besides at the time, Liv and Becky, they have no other like credible heels. So that's why she didn't have any matches, because she's going to face. There's no other heels on Raw for her to face. But she's going to face Raquel Rodriguez? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, VO's champion right now. Yeah, exactly. That's why I think they needed the title on a heel.
That was the whole point. That she had three matches in 3 months since winning the belt, because there's no one else for her to face. Because they have no heels.
We'll get into it. I have more thoughts on it. I agree with that part, but that's why I'm totally fine with Naomi being champion. But we'll get into it in a couple minutes. David said, I want Rhea out of the title picture for a little while. Well,
good luck.
Good luck. Well, she's challenging for the championship at SummerSlam, so, and she'll probably win the championship in Perth. At the latest, she will win the championship in Australia, come Crown Jewel in October. So that's probably not going to happen. Nathaniel asked, how would RJ feel if he wrote Becky, but I think he means Bayley. How would RJ feel if Bayley cost Lyra at SummerSlam?
You wouldn't see me on the show ever again.
Yeah, he actually corrected himself in a future chat. He meant to say Bayley. Yeah, no, that would be dumb. We talked about that, I think, over text when we were discussing this the other day. I think you could do that to set up Bayley and Lyra coming out of the show. I would not do that. Becky could continue to be a great women's IC champion, but I feel like this, this feud has to culminate in Lyra getting her. I mean, she's already beaten Becky before, but I feel like it would be better if this feud culminates with her getting a big win over Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. Alexis here saying good morning, y'all. She was the same person beefing with RJ over text the other day over that Naomi title win. That's why it's Boys Weekend on Saturday. Noob talking about Naomi cashing in on Sky. He was surprised. Thoughts on Santino versus Mr. Iguana. Didn't see it. Don't care personally. Greatest match in wrestling history, he asked? Probably not. Does blood taste like ice cream, Nathaniel asked. I don't know. That's fucking disgusting, so I'm not going to answer that. And then Maria also said Rhea Hogan. It's not Rhea Hogan. It's Rhea Maivia. We've been over this. It's Rhea Maivia, Fabulous Monet, and who was the we had another one for the women. Oh,
Becky Balea.
Becky Balea, of course. That was the OG nickname. Shout out to Daniel for that one. Dillon also, and Nathaniel said he might go see his Yankees play in October. He said the Yankees are winning the World Series. True or false?
That could be more false.
Dillon said, I think Bayley attacking Lyra after she wins the title would be cool. Yeah, I said this to you, and I'll say this again. I would not turn Bayley heel, personally, at this point. She has not been a babyface for that long after being a heel for like 5 years. I could see it, but, she's putting in great work right now. I will say that. Face, heel, doesn't matter. I think she's putting in great work. She had that great match on Monday. She was great at the Evolution pay-per-view, so can't fault her for that.
You sound like Tony Khan with all the great drops.
She was great. The booking sucks, but she's great. Let's start with this, Mr. Marceau. Before we get into the EO Sky thing, I do want to get this out of the way first. It was kind of lost in all the news this past weekend with the Great Evolution show, the Great All-In show. Goldberg is done. He is retired from professional wrestling, or so we think, unless he comes back for another retirement match. His fucking 5th retirement match in 20 years. But he lost to Gunther on Saturday, failing to win the World Heavyweight Championship, with me on my knees praying to the gods, saying, thank you, Lord. I don't care what Mr. Marceau wanted. I don't care what Average Grunt wanted. I did not want Goldberg winning that World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday, and he did not. But then he turns around, goes on Ariel Helwani's show on Tuesday, that would be, complaining about how he went out. He said, I would be lying if I said I wasn't pissed off. Now, he did say later in the interview that he wasn't complaining, which was very funny. He said, I'm just answering your question. I'm not complaining, but yeah, it pissed me off. It sucked. Not that it sucked. He just said he wasn't happy with the way it went down. So there's a lot to dissect here, and I'll give my thoughts in 2 seconds. I do think it's kind of 50-50. He is complaining, which is comical. He complains a lot. He complained before he got the match. He was complaining when he didn't get the match. He's complaining now that he got the fucking match. I think it is shitty that they cut him off at the end of the show. I absolutely agree with him on that. But he was also talking about how they should have started advertising his match in January. They booked it on a month notice. I mean, what the fuck did he expect? He wasn't out there doing a whole retirement tour like John Cena is. God forbid he wrestles on Raw and falls apart. I mean, I'm not really sure what more he expected. He was the main event of his own show. He would have preferred a PLE, but he wasn't going to main event fucking SummerSlam. He would have been a 5-minute undercard match at SummerSlam. So I'm not really sure what he expected. So what were your thoughts on the match itself with Gunther on Saturday, and then his subsequent comments in the Ariel Helwani show a few days later?
I mean, I thought the match itself was fine for what it was. I mean, I thought he looked better than I thought he was, but I didn't think he looked overly great either. I mean, he lost, which was, I was more pulling from the wins to see you cry. At the end of the day, I really didn't want him to win. Now also that Seth got injured. I'm glad that he didn't win, because then we'd have Goldberg as champion, so that's a positive, I guess. But no, I thought it was fine. Like you said, he main evented his own show, was in his home state and home area. Like, he wasn't gonna win. He had probably the best match he's had in a long time, and we move on. I mean, I don't know what else he expected, but like you said, it's not like he was, I wanted it announced in January. Were you working Raw? Or, like, were you going to be around? Or you just want them announced in January that you're going to wrestle this like, it's just, he needs to stop complaining and just retire and move on.
Well, like I said, to play devil's advocate, I do agree with him on the fact that they did him dirty by cutting off the speech. I do think the match should have been a lot shorter than it was. It ended up being a decent match. Like you said, I completely agree. I thought he did well. He was in there with a great opponent in Gunther, and they ended up having a pretty decent match, and they almost gave me a heart attack on that near fall with Goldberg winning, getting that spear in. I was thinking, holy shit, are they actually going to do it? And they did not, thankfully. But they did cut him off. They came back from commercial for legit like 28 seconds, and he spoke, and they put up the full thing on social media afterward. But really, if they timed their shit better, it's not an NBC problem. They always end their shows at 10. That's not really a surprise. All the other Saturday night's main events ended at 10 p.m. flat. It's, you got the news on, other shows on. That's how it is. It's fucking NBC. It's not Netflix. It's not a PLE. I understand that. But WWE, I think, could have timed it better and had the match go shorter and then give him more time to talk. So do you agree with him on that anyway?
I guess, but I feel like the length was appropriate enough for like his last match, because then if the match was shorter and it didn't come off as well, then people would complain the match sucked. I think the match was the best it could have been from what shape he's in and kind of working with Gunther. So, I understand he's upset that his speech got fucking cut down, but if you shave, who knows how long he was going to talk? You're going to shave 5 minutes off so he could yap around? Like, I think I would have just kept the match the way it is. Unfortunately, like you said, they did put the whole thing on social. Obviously, it probably would have been better for him if it was on TV. But like you said, if you shave X amount of minutes off the match, would we have been looking at it the same way we are now? It might have felt rushed, or it might have most of it been a commercial, and we'd have been like, "What the hell?" So
Yeah.
I think it was fine. I think, like you said, like yes, it's unfortunate, but the match was the best one he's had in so long. He should just be happy with that.
That's what I don't really understand. Like the speech thing I do get. I understand with him. I can, sympathize with him as far as that is concerned. But then he was also saying, like, I don't care about getting a world heavyweight title match. I don't really know what he was insinuating he did want, because Ariel asked him, like, how would you have wanted to go out, basically? And he wished he had, like he said, or like I said that he said, that he would have wanted the match announced in, like, January. Like, the fuck? Like, they're not going to build to a match 6 months out, especially on a quick Saturday night's main event that's a 10-minute match. It's not that big of a deal. There wasn't anything changing about this fucking feud between Goldberg and Gunther going into this show. I mean, they gave him 14 minutes. If it was a 3-minute match, he probably would be complaining about that too. He did say, oh, you wouldn't do that to John Cena. You wouldn't do that to Undertaker. Yeah, because they're bigger stars than you, pal. I mean, come on. I mean, you're not wrong, but no shit. Goldberg, I mean, come on. You also got send-offs in 2004, 2017 when we were there, that great Goldberg match. He went to the Hall of Fame. He spoke the next night on Raw in 2017. How many matches has he had in the last 6 years, and any one of which could have been his last match? He wrestled last... Like, you're lucky you even got his last match at all. You know what I mean? Like, I know he said his big thing for a while was, Vince McMahon owed me another match. Well, he's gone. The old man is gone. We don't give a fuck about Vince. We don't care about what he owes you. So just shut the fuck up. Again, the speech thing I get.
Yeah.
Everything else that he was complaining about, I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, I feel like he was like, I need more, like... The problem is, like, his first thing of coming back is like, I want my kids see me wrestle. Okay, so he did that.
Yeah.
But then he kept dragging it on and on and on. It's like, okay, dude, you're done. Like you said, they don't. Realistically, once Vince left, they didn't owe him anything.
Nothing. No, exactly. They did not owe him a single match, moment, promo, 10 seconds of television time. You are lucky, Bill. Like, again, he preferred this to be on pay-per-view. Well, tough shit. You could have gone to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. You could have. You could have accepted the paycheck, had your last match over there. But no. It's got to be in the States so my fans can see me. Okay. Why? I can't do it I can't do it at SummerSlam. They're in New Jersey. I got to do it in front of my fans in Atlanta. Okay, fine. Then we'll do a Saturday night's main event for it. We'll do it in Atlanta. We'll build the entire show around you, because if you watch the show in full, they had a lot of clips for him, highlights. They had that awesome posse for him walk out with him. They had his whole family there. They had his whole posse in the ring with him after his win for the speech that got cut off. They built the entire show around him. But it's not enough. Like, again, I don't get it. And this comes from someone who is a Goldberg fan. I like Goldberg. I've talked to him before. Nice guy. He intimidated the fuck out of me that first time I talked to him. That's a whole other story. But maybe he'll have his last match in TNA now or in AEW. But still, I mean, this guy is just, it's never enough with him. And the best part, like I said, if you go back and watch the entire interview with Ariel, it's just really funny. Ariel goes, I sense some mixed emotions here, Bill. He goes, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I just didn't really like how it went, and it really pissed me off. It's like, well, that sounds, Bill, like complaining. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't really know what else to call it. Oh, my God.
I mean, I just think at the end of the day, he just has such a massive ego. He wasn't going to be happy with anything.
He wasn't going to be happy with anything unless he, guess what, won on his way out. All these matches that he had his last match in, he lost. Unless it was 2004, he won. That was the only match that he won. 2017, he lost. He lost his last match to Roman. He lost this match. He wasn't happy with anything other than walking away with a W. And yes, David, he probably wanted WrestleMania in Atlanta, him as the main event, 20-minute match, going over and winning the World Championship. It's probably what the fuck he wanted, honestly. It's completely ridiculous. Anyway, other news and notes here as we move on. There's a lot to get to, so I'll just breeze through some of these topics here. We got a new AEW World Champion, Mr. Marceau. We were texting about this on Saturday. His name is Hangman Adam Page, beating Jon Moxley. The reign of terror is over. I know you saw some of the highlights on socials of the Texas Death Match. It was indeed as grotesque as advertised. Not as bad as some other Texas Death Matches they've done as far as like some of the blood and the gross appeal and whatever, but still a great match overall. They had interference from Darby. Daniel Bryan was out there. Swerve helping Adam Page finally win the championship. I know you're not the most avid AEW watcher, but want to get your thoughts on what you saw from the match and the moment itself. I know we were talking last week because you were saying Darby should have been the one to beat him. Do you still stand by that, or seeing the reaction that Adam Page got, has your mind changed since last week?
I mean, like I said to you via text, obviously I haven't watched a ton, but I feel like for me, I felt like more people just wanted Moxley to lose the belt, just in general. So whoever was the one that beat them, people would be very excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like Hangman, and like I don't know. For me, it felt like people were like pulling for him, like they did when he finally beat Omega that time. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be great." And then the aftermath was just terrible. Like he had an awful title run, and then he lost the belt, and now he kind of got it back now. But I mean, I saw Darby came out. It looked like it was kind of a waste of, I mean, it didn't really look like anything he did really led to the finish, so I'm not really sure why they did that, but okay. Because I saw that he came out, and then it was like 20 minutes later the match was still going on. I'm like, why did he come out then?
I understand.
You'd think he'd come out to help him like win, but
Yeah.
I guess not. But yeah, so I mean, I guess for people that watch AEW that are tired of Jon Moxley, well, he finally lost the belt, and I would assume he's not getting it back anytime soon. So that's always a positive. But I mean, I like Hangman, but I feel like I said, I feel like people have loved Darby. Now they're all saying they don't like him, but then I saw all these people going nuts when he came back on Saturday. So we'll see what happens, but I think just Moxley losing the belt is the positive.
Well, I think it's fair to say that personally, I like Darby a lot. I would have been totally fine with him being the one to win the World Championship, but it came to a certain point in the last few months where all signs pointed to it being Adam Page in Texas, their biggest North American attendance ever, for AEW, that is. One of the biggest, highest attended non-WWE, like we talked about it a week or two ago. You know, still an impressive stat nonetheless. I feel like they had to pull the trigger on the show. If they did all of that shit with Danielson coming out, Darby coming out, Swerve helping Hangman, and then he's still fucking lost. If Hangman's still lost, I don't know if I'd be talking about it right now. I mean, I would have lost complete faith in this company and in Tony Khan. And there's been a lot of instances in the last couple of years where I've questioned, like, okay, what are we doing here? He's had a lot of dumb booking decisions, but that was the right one, I think. Adam Page is, as a lot of people have said, the main character of AEW. I thought that was the right outcome. Great moment. He kicked off Dynamite last night with a good promo. I don't know where they go with him from here. But I'm excited to see. I just think they had to end. And you are right. Some people are more so just hoping the Jon Moxley experiment would end as opposed to Adam Page winning the title. Because if Darby were to win the title, it would not be until like October. It would not be anytime soon.
Yeah.
It would probably be September.
I get that too, but like looking from like the outside in, like how isn't like Ospreay held the belt yet? Like they brought him in with all the fanfare, like he had all the buzz, wins all the matches, and I don't even think he's even contended for it. So it's like, what are they doing with Ospreay? Like, he's supposed to be like the big baby face they brought in. He hasn't even sniffed the title picture.
I think that's a good thing. Well, for a couple of reasons. He had that one title match with Swerve about a year ago, Forbidden Door, that was awesome, and he lost. But other than that, you're right. He has not challenged for the championship. But I think he's in there for the long haul. He probably signed like a 5-year deal when he came in a year or two ago. So they have plenty of time with him. He's not old. He's like 30, 31 or whatever. And he and Swerve beat the Bucks on Sunday or Saturday, whenever it was. So they don't have that stupid stipulation in place where they can't challenge for the championship for a year, which would have been bad. If the Bucks fucking won and they were still EVPs, that would have been ridiculous. Thankfully, they're not, and what they did with the Bucks last night, I actually enjoyed. But anyway, I think they can hold off on Ospreay, honestly. I don't know. They're not running to Adam Page and Will Ospreay tomorrow. But, you know, I wouldn't say wait a year until they're in London next. They're in London again in a month for Forbidden Door. They're not doing the match there. I think Ospreay's even off the show for the time being because he's banged up or something. But I think it's okay that they're holding off on Ospreay. Yeah, I mean, I think most of the roster is. I think they can hold off on putting the belt on him until next year. And I think that's totally fine, if they can make it interesting until then.
I guess. That works for me, I guess.
Dillon said, did you see that I did not see this, actually, but I guess I'll bring this to your attention. Dillon said, did you see that WWE offered Goldberg's son Gage an NIL deal and he turned it down? I did not know that. Did you see that anywhere?
I did not.
Gage Goldberg doesn't want to do the job, brother, so he's not coming in. I did not see that, so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Goldberg, listen, he didn't start wrestling until he was in his 30s, so give Gage Goldberg some time to go play for the NFL, fail spectacularly there, and then come to WWE and follow on his father's footsteps and maybe complain about not getting complain about not getting a world championship match and all this other sort of stuff. Also from All In on Saturday, I got to bring this up as well. Very unfortunate news. I'm sure you saw this. Adam Cole might have to retire. He relinquished the TNT Championship in a match that he was supposed to have with Kyle Fletcher. And then he came out. They did a 4-way instead, and then Dustin Rhodes win, which in the moment I was like, the fuck are we doing here? That's very random. But they wanted the feel-good moment. He's from Texas. Doesn't have to hold it long. Okay, cool, whatever. I ended up being fine with it. I like Dustin, so it's okay. But the Adam Cole thing, he was booked to wrestle as of the day before, and they had to change it the day of when he felt that he wasn't feeling well, told Tony Khan. They pulled him out, and it's since been confirmed, I think, that it was a concussion-related issue. No, it was not, to just clarify here, because a couple people asked me this, it was not the spot that was going around where Kyle Fletcher powerbombed Adam Cole on the apron, which was a terrible, stupid spot from several weeks ago. That was not the spot that gave Cole a concussion. It was actually something else from Collision a few days earlier. A very basic spot, which is why it's concerning regarding Cole's health that he may never be able to wrestle again. If the guy can't take a simple clothesline, then he might have to retire for good. Now, he did not retire on Saturday, but it's looking like we might be headed in that direction. So, did you see the Adam Cole news, Mr. Marceau, and your thoughts on it as someone who had such a very promising future and has been kind of just plagued by injuries in recent years?
Yeah, no, I did see that on the socials. Like you said, I mean, the way he kind of addressed the crowd, I feel like he was very heartfelt and emotional, like you said. So I feel like it kind of might lean to more like he might not wrestle ever again. Obviously for something that I think he thought oh, I just need to step away for a little bit. Yeah, it is emotional, but I feel like he kind of was it's kind of like a swan song. I'm basically saying I'm probably done without saying it, which is definitely, which sucks, obviously. Like you said, I feel like ever since he left WWE, he's just been plagued with injuries, unfortunately. It sucks because I feel like he had such a bright future. Obviously in NXT a few years ago, he was the guy. And then, like I just said, once he left, I feel like since he's been in AEW, he's been on the injury shelf a lot, probably majority of his time there, which just sucks. I feel like I see him and then he's gone for a while, then he comes back, then he gets hurt again, unfortunately, and then seems like I saw that he was champion and then he was kind of getting some more momentum going, then sounds like he got injured again, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's been, it's a lot of concussion-related stuff, although he was out this most recent time for a year with the ankle injury. He actually only fell off the stage or jumped off the stage wrong at Grand Slam 2 years ago, and then he was out for a year from that alone. That wasn't even a concussion-related thing, which is kind of crazy. And I don't think he was going to retire from that, but it wasn't looking good there for a while. So, yeah, very, very unfortunate diagnosis, so to speak, for someone that did have a very promising future from his time in Ring of Honor, NXT, obviously. Coming in AEW with a lot of momentum, and they didn't exactly do a whole ton of them from the get-go, but then he just got injured and got injured again. He was gone, came back, and it's been very unfortunate. The guy's only, I think, mid-30s, 34, 35, maybe max. I hope he can wrestle again, but health comes first, and hopefully he's, feeling better, and he can at least live a pretty, full and healthy life without any worries of concussions and stuff like that. A couple things here. Maria said there's no hurry for Will Ospreay to win the World Championship. I agree. Two good questions here from David. One pertaining to Adam Cole that I'll save for a second. But his first question was, who do you think is the better booker? Eric Bischoff, Tony Khan, Vince McMahon, Triple H, or Shawn Michaels? I would probably say Triple H personally. I would probably go Vince just because the Attitude Era is still a thing. Vince, at the end there was terrible, but if you include overall compass of booking, it would probably have to be Vince. Would you agree with that, or would you go with Triple H or Shawn or Tony Khan maybe? Who would you go with as best booker?
It's a hard question. That's the hard. I think you'd have to go Vince. That's like saying who's a better coach, Bill Belichick. You'd have to go with
yeah.
Even with recent success, you'd have to go with the proven guy, right?
You'd have to, yeah.
I think it's kind of not that it's a silly question, but you're also comparing people, someone that's had 50 years of booking compared to other people that may have 5 to 10 years total booking. So Vince's track record alone, you couldn't say. I feel like you can't even say. There's no one even really close.
Yeah.
There's no one even really close.
Yeah, I mean, when Triple H...
So it would have to be Vince.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, when Triple H, when Tony Khan, people like that are booking into their 70s, and if they're booking as senile as Vince was, then we can talk. Or if they're not, we'll still see. But I think it's still too soon to say, but I would have to say Vince. Even though the guy is a piece of shit, and some of his creative stuff in the last 15 years was terrible, you can't take away some of the bright spots that the company did creatively early on in its existence. So I would probably have to go Vince. His second question was, if Adam Cole were to have a final match, who would it be? That's a good question. I mean, I guess you could go from anyone from AEW, but I would just say anyone in general. If you had to book a final match from Adam Cole, Mr. Marceau, who would you book it against? And no, Fernando, it should not be Goldberg.
I think you go the triple threat, him, O'Reilly, and Strong, right?
Yeah, I could see that. I was going to say Johnny Gargano.
One
more time?
He was probably the last person on my mind. I guess. I don't know. I didn't even think about him.
Yeah, no, for storyline reasons, I could see why you say O'Reilly and Strong. Hey, maybe dig up Bobby Fish and do a fatal four-way.
I'm down.
A good old Undisputed Era four-way. That would be totally fine. So some other highlights from All In. I really enjoyed the Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, not reunion, but the seeds planted for what they got going on there. Like I said earlier, I like the segment with them on Dynamite. Tony Storm beating Mercedes Moné genuinely shocked me, but I was happy with it because Athena's now the holder of the contract, which I got to give full credit to Grunt. He called that. He had faith, and he was right. Athena was not only in the Casino Gauntlet, but she won the whole thing. Hopefully at a Ring of Honor Purgatory. She is still the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, but I do hope that she can win that AEW World Women's Championship as well. I'm sure that surprised you, Mr. Marceau, certainly as someone who thought Mercedes Moné was going over on Saturday. That surprised you, Mercedes Moné retaining the champion, losing the championship and Tony Storm retaining? Oh, Mr. Marceau, can you hear me? I think I may have lost you. We may have lost Mr. Marceau. Give me a second here. Well, I'll go on to the next thing. I think it says he's still here, but I may have lost him. He may have lost service for a second. But the next thing I did want to discuss was actually what we were here to discuss and what he wanted to talk about more than anything. So I'll kind of set the stage here, and then we'll check back with him in a moment. The ending of Evolution, which was an overall great show. A lot of great stuff going on in Evolution. I like the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Really getting over as a team. Charlotte Flair getting a very positive reaction, which I thought was great. Raquel and Roxanne retaining the tag team titles. I enjoyed that. Stephanie Vaquer winning the Battle Royal to earn the next shot at a World Championship. Not specified exactly which one, but I still thought it was a very good match. The Battle Royal, not so much. The tag team title match, I thought was a very good match. The Battle Royal was fine for what it was. But whatever title match Stephanie does get at Clash in Paris, regardless of who she chooses, I do think she, has a great showing, and that should be a great match, regardless of whether she chooses Naomi, regardless of whether she chooses the SmackDown Women's Champion, whether that be Jade or Tiffany, whoever. I think Stephanie's awesome, so I was really happy to see that. But other highlights from Evolution included that awesome triple threat match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We talked about this at the beginning of the show, so I might as well just address it now. No real reason to review the whole thing as far as the match itself, but did mention that triple threat match. Becky Lynch, Lyra, Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental title. A great way to start that show. I thought it was an awesome match between all three women. Becky Lynch stealing the win, holding on to the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and then finding out the next night when Lyra beat Bayley in that 2 out of 3 falls match that it will be Lyra and Becky one more time at SummerSlam, hopefully in some sort of a stipulation match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which should also be very, very good. Mr. Marceau, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I don't know what just happened.
No, it's fine. Hey, listen, technical difficulties, pal. We're live, pal, as they say in Anchorman. But I was just talking Evolution there for a second and just my overall thoughts in the show. Before I ask you, it was funny, right before your phone cut out, I was just about to ask you about the main event, which I'll get to in a second. We mentioned Evolution a little while ago, but your overall impressions of the pay-per-view and how it was even better than the first installment, the great triple threat match, Stephanie winning the Battle Royal. It turned out to be a really, really good show on Sunday.
it was hit after hit after hit. I thought overall, probably top to bottom, probably the best show WWE's had all year, honestly, probably.
Yeah.
I thought every match was really good to great. I think the in-ring action, I mean, I think the crowd helped a ton. I mean, I know that they bought tickets knowing they're getting an all-women show, but Raquel Rodriguez came out. They acted like she was fucking Hulk Hogan, for Christ's sakes. I mean, they were lapping everything up. So, I mean, I think the crowd definitely added to it, but I thought all the in-ring stuff was great as well. So, I mean, A-plus job. I know you were weeping before about the build, but, I mean, I knew the women could deliver once the lights turned on.
I hope they see the success from the show online and the critical reaction. I don't know how the ticket sales did ultimately and viewership and stuff like that, but I do hope they do another installment, which I'll ask you about in a second. But you mentioned that tag team title match. Charlotte and Alexa already are a very good team, dude. Like, they are already like showing great chemistry. And Charlotte got, and I had to check my ears there for a second. I thought it was piped in. She got "We Want Charlotte" chants. Did you hear the same thing? Were we hearing the same voices in our head on Sunday?
I did hear the "We Want Charlotte" chant.
So you're enjoying the team too?
Yeah, no, I thought they're doing great. It's like the odd couple, obviously, and I mean, Charlotte saving Alexa was big. I mean, they kind of highlighted that, but like finally, I think they're now like on the same page. Like, they're saying they're not friends. We're kind of like I said, like the odd couple, but Charlotte saved Alexa from the spear from Zarya, and like they kind of had that little moment. But yeah, no, like we texted right after, give me Roxanne and Raquel versus Charlotte and Alexa at SummerSlam.
I think it's coming at SummerSlam. I do think that's definitely one of the SummerSlam matches that we will get for the tag team titles. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to ask you, which I mentioned a moment ago, do you think a case can be made for Evolution becoming an annual event for WWE? Is it something they should do annually, every other year, every 7 years, never again? What are your thoughts?
At least once, I would say. Never again was good.
Had to throw it
definitely
in
once. I would say definitely once a year at least. I mean, I thought this was a solid show. Obviously, like the actual placement of the show was kind of rough. It was like in the middle of a rock and a hard place. Kind of was like stuffed in between Night of Champions, Saturday Night's Main Event, SummerSlam. It was kind of in like that area. If they kind of like you said, maybe if they had the proper build, like maybe ticket sales would have been a little bit better, and they kind of had a lot going on at the same time. Sounds like reports came out like it was supposed to be July 5th at Mohegan Sun, and then they decided to switch it. So like that probably didn't help either. But I mean, the women alone, I think they have a solid enough roster. You could easily do another show like this, and I thought it was a great, like I said, top to bottom, I would say it's probably their best show all year.
I agree. I think there was a case to be said, a case to be made about this being their best show all year. And at this point, I would probably make it an annual event. I could see why it would, some people say it might ruin the specialness of it, which I completely understand. I would probably just consider doing it again, given how they're now 2 for 2. The first show was fun. They didn't do one in 7 years. They did one last night, or on Sunday rather, and got a great reaction. So I would certainly agree. I would do it every year, if not every other year, if they want to switch off with like King and Queen of the Ring to make that more special. If they could do that every year, I would do this every year. Just my personal opinion. Preferably every summer. I feel like that's the perfect time for a pay-per-view like that. But let's get to what we came here to talk about, Mr. Marceau. The ending of Evolution. We have a new women's world champion, but it's not who we thought it would be. It is not Rhea Maivia. It is rather Naomi, SmackDown superstar, probably now Raw superstar, cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase at the end of that match on Rhea and Io, making it a triple threat in the middle of this epic match between the two. And these two always have great chemistry. Never underestimate these two women. Going in there having one of the best matches all year. Naomi crashes it, takes out Io, takes out Rhea, pins Io, and becomes the new women's world champion. Maria even said in the chat, Io deserved to lose, LOL. Just kidding, RJ, we love you. So she was trying to troll you there for a second, but trying to get you going here and fuel the flames. I know you weren't happy about it, but just to get it on the record, and you already mentioned it earlier, but talk to me about this finish. Why exactly did you not like the ending of Evolution on Sunday?
It just killed me. It killed me right in the heart. I hated it. They were having a fucking instant classic, and then you just have to insert fucking Naomi into it. It just, I just hated the finish. I thought we were finally gonna get even at that point, if Rhea won, like, hey, it was an amazing match. Rhea won. I think realistically at this point, you should drag this out for like 10 years that Rhea can never beat Io. Like, that's her fucking kryptonite. She can beat anyone on the roster, but she can't beat fucking Io. But, I mean, technically she didn't beat her here, so I guess we could see it going. But I think they should, like, drag this out her whole career, that, like, the one person she can't beat is Io. Like, you can tell that story. And then eventually, maybe at the very end, she finally beats her, but, like, you can, like, tell the story that she can never beat Io, which would be, I think, is, like, her character arc. Like, she can beat everyone but Io would be amazing. But I just, like I said, I hated it. I threw my phone. I threw a tantrum. I just thought it made no sense. And everyone's like, well, it's not predictable. Like, Naomi cashed in on her. But, like, no. Like, it was so good. And, like, yes, I know if Naomi cashed in on Jade at SummerSlam, yes, it would have been predictable. But, like, there's a story there. Like, she can't beat Jade. So finally Jade gets her big moment. Then Naomi ruins her big moment. Like, that's the story there. Like, I don't, like, but then, God, I was so fucking mad. I'm getting mad now just thinking about it. I hated everything about it. I thought it was great, and then it pissed me off even more that Io was the one that got fucking pinned, too. Like, of course, Rhea can't fucking lose, so Io was the one that got pinned.
Well, I will give you that. I do think Rhea could have been pinned here, but I think they wanted to justify Rhea getting another shot, because if Rhea got pinned, then she absolutely could not be in the triple threat at SummerSlam. Which, I mean,
good. She doesn't have to be in the match every fucking time.
But they want to get her. They want to get her on the card for one of their biggest pay-per-views, on a 2-night card, no less.
I just feel like it's just like, get her on the card, she's on the card. It's like, it's literally the same match from Mania, with just, instead of Bianca, it's Naomi.
No, it definitely is. But I mean, I do think a bigger SummerSlam match is the triple threat as opposed to just Naomi and Io one-on-one.
Well, yeah, definitely, but God, I was so fucking mad.
What? I guess to ask the $1 million question, would you have hated, I mean, you didn't like this, obviously, but what would you have hated more, this or Rhea getting the belt back?
It depends. I mean, if, like, Rhea, like, had to cheat to beat Io and then we got a rematch at SummerSlam, I would have taken that over this.
So Rhea,
it's just like, the only thing, it's like watching the Super Bowl, and at the very end, when the one team's about to win, another team just runs out and scores a touchdown, and they win the Super Bowl. Like, to me, like, it was such a good match. It just came out of nowhere. It was like, there just was no story for, like I said, it didn't make any sense for Naomi to cash in on that match. And, like, yes, I get it was a surprise, and everyone, like, gets so excited because it's a cash-in. Like, oh my God, it's a cash-in! Like, we're just going to say it's great because it's a cash-in. But it made no sense to cash in on that match. And yes, it's not predictable, but, like, the other story made way more sense.
Yeah, like you said, I feel like a lot of people, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the predictability was a bad thing, that if she went to SmackDown and cashed in on Jade after Jade won at SummerSlam, that wouldn't, I mean, obviously it would be predictable, but I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. I was totally fine with that. But I think the biggest thing here as to why, honestly, I don't think they do this if Liv Morgan is still around. Now, I know Liv was in the tag team division before she got hurt, but she was still the biggest character on that show, and the entire division revolved around her, and she's going to be out for a little bit, seemingly. So we talked about this over text, but just to kind of bring it here to the show, Liv's out right now. You have Becky, who is the best on that show as a heel, which I agree with, but you're not building the division around her as the Intercontinental Champion. So you need someone that the main women can work with. And I know what you said, like, about turning Rhea heel or Bayley heel. You're not going to turn Rhea heel. I mean, you're not going to turn Rhea heel with how popular she is. That's just not happening. Bayley, I could see a case being made for. I personally just don't agree with that, just because she's lost so much and she was already the top heel on SmackDown for so long. I feel like Naomi's a fresh face in that mix where you could see her work with Rhea and work with Io and all the other women on Raw until she's probably going to lose it to Rhea at the Crown Jewel show in October. That's really where all roads are leading here. At least they're taking a chance on her, because on SmackDown she would probably be overshadowed by the Biancas, who's probably going to be cleared soon. Jade, Tiffany, anyone else on SmackDown, Charlotte, Alexa Bliss. I mean, you could say the same thing on Raw as well, but I'm glad they're kind of giving her a chance to kind of run with the ball and see what she can do with it. So, I mean, she is very popular right now, too. Naomi has a lot of momentum. She's been one of the best women's wrestlers all years for this company, aside from Io Sky. Would you at least agree with that?
I just, like you said, I think I think it just points to, we've discussed, I just think it just points to the bad booking that of the heels, especially. If you have to change things so much because one person got hurt, then your booking of the heels for the women are bad. Like, Triple H put all his eggs in the Liv basket. She gets hurt, and now it's like, oh, realistically at that point, the only other heel that's credible is Becky. Besides that, I couldn't even name you another fucking heel they have on Raw that's worth a nickel. So then you have to do this, but like at the end of the day, that just proves that they have no heels. They have no women heels on Raw.
They could turn Asuka. I mean, no one said that, but we talked about that. There is Asuka. I mean, we forget about Asuka because she's in the tag ranks right now, which would have been fine. I would have loved to see Asuka and Kyrie at some point, hopefully imminently. Asuka and Rhea again, which we haven't seen in a bit. Asuka and Io, obviously, which we haven't seen in a few years. I'm still all for making a new... I mean, we're not making a new star to Naomi. She's been around for 15 years, but, you know, they're giving her a chance to kind of run with the ball, and I don't know. I mean, if she was...
I guess my other complaint is going to be that is like... So it's like, okay, Naomi wins, whatever, I guess. Okay, then Stephanie won the Battle Royal. She's going to face Naomi, theoretically, at Clash of Paris. She should not be losing to Naomi.
Stephanie.
Correct.
Well... She is. I mean,
but that's just like, again, back to my point, bad booking. It is bad booking to have Stephanie, who's realistically your new top young baby face that everyone loves. You're going to have her lose to Naomi for her first title defense. That is terrible.
And Naomi's, well, it would be her second one because she's defending at SummerSlam.
No, I'm saying Stephanie's first title match. She's going to lose to Naomi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I don't think she needs to win her first title match, at least for a main women's world title. I think that's fine if she loses.
I just think that's just... I think the whole thing is just... We need a surprise, and everything's falling apart. We're just going to give it to Naomi. Like, especially after Stephanie won. Like you said, she should not be losing Naomi. I don't think she should be, and I think that's a mistake.
Well, I mean, if we're talking Maxine Dupree here, then maybe. But I think Naomi is good enough to where she could definitely... It could be believable, especially if she wins at SummerSlam. I mean, listen, none of this could even matter if Naomi...
She's going to win at SummerSlam.
I mean, she should win at SummerSlam, but we can't guarantee that. Rhea could get the belt back there by not pinning Naomi. I hope not, but you could.
That'd be even dumber. That'd be even dumber.
Fernando said, "Stop it, RJ. Io had the greatest title reign in women's wrestling history." Do I have permission to ban Fernando from the chat forever?
I mean, it was one of the worst title runs in WWE history, but it goes back to the point: there's no fucking heels on Raw for her to face.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think he was just trolling. Alexis said, "So what we're learning now is that RJ just does not like Naomi. LMAO. Is that true?"
I just don't like her in this spot. Like I said, I don't want her. Like, she won the belt, okay, but then I don't want her losing to Stephanie. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, so it's just, like I said, I just don't think it was the right decision, and I'm standing by it, and no one's starting changing my mind.
Totally understandable. I still love the ending for what it was. I'm glad Naomi's getting this run. She could lose it very well as quickly at SummerSlam, which is in 2 weeks.
No, that would be fucking stupid if she lost at SummerSlam, especially to Rhea. It would just be dumb.
I mean, all roads lead to her losing it at Crown Jewel at the very latest, right? In October in Australia?
I mean, you keep saying that. I don't think she needs to win the belt at Perth. I mean, yeah, she could, but...
I don't think she needs to either. I agree. But she'll be on that show.
So. Well, yeah, she'll definitely be on the show, but I don't think she needs to win the belt. No, thank you.
Could we do what Richie said last week and have her just host the show? She just open the show with a promo, maybe?
That sounds good to me. Oh, my God.
So it's a couple minutes to 9 here before I got to let you go. Should I either let you go now or get your quick thoughts on the Roman return or save that till next week?
I'm not going to be around next week, so I might as well just give it to you now.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
I mean, Roman coming out, predictable as all hell, but I fell out of my bed still.
Yeah, no, a great moment to end Raw, him coming out. Well, first of all, CM Punk's the new #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, winning that gauntlet match, beating Braun Breaker in the end. Went down predictably. I did think Roman would help Punk win and take out Reed and Breaker, but that did not happen. But yeah, Roman's back. Predictable, but very well done. Great moment. What does this mean for SummerSlam? And is Seth Rollins actually hurt? Another hot topic question right now, Mr. Marceau. What does this mean for SummerSlam?
I mean, I guess we don't know for now, but I assume at this point we're getting Roman and Jay versus Braun and Bronson. I would take a guess, right? I mean,
I agree, but does that match do anything for you?
It moves the needle for me.
Okay.
I mean, the needle's moving as we speak, so I mean, I think anything with Roman Reigns in it's big time. I mean, I think Braun and Bronson versus him and Jay. I mean, him and Jay are super over. I mean, does something for me. Like I said, is Seth hurt? Is he not? I mean, we don't really know. Like, he did. This made no fucking sense to me at all. It was on Rich Eisen's podcast yesterday. It was like, yeah, I got my knee looked at. They said it's too swollen and give me a diagnosis, so I don't know yet. Dude, there's plenty of time that people blow their knees out and they get MRIs like 3 hours after the fact, and they're like, "Yep, you tore it."
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean it's too swollen? I don't know. When I saw that, I'm like, might be a little fucking kayfabe that when Punk wins and Rollins cashes in on him, it's like, eat shit, buddy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think now after that interview, and Triple H was like, "Yeah, it's bad, but we don't know yet." Like. I don't know. I think it's a little kayfabe, and he's gonna cash in on Rollins at Punk on SummerSlam, because, like, realistically, if he did blow his knee out like they say he is, he'd realistically be out for a year. And Paul Heyman's like, well, he only, like, we're not worried about Money in the Bank because he still has 8 months to cash it in. It's like, dude, he'd be out still by that point if he really, like, tore his ACL or did something bad to his knee, which we think he did. And after that interview, I'm like, I think they're kayfabing a little bit.
I was 100% convinced it was real on Tuesday, and now I'm a lot less convinced that it's real after that interview on the Rich Eisen show. You're absolutely right. It did make me think. Why was he even? I know he was on the show because he was replacing Rich Eisen for the week, but I feel like that was timed perfectly so we can give an update on his injury, right? I mean, it seems a little too convenient.
Yeah, like I said, it seems too convenient. Like I said, him saying his knee was too swollen to get any diagnosis, I'm like, I don't believe that.
After being a wrestling fan for so many years, I feel like we're just conditioned to be skeptical of everything. So I'm just going to we'll call it a work for now, probably.
Until he's officially out, I'm saying it's a work.
Until I see that MRI from fucking Dr. whoever in Alabama and Birmingham, I'm going to call it a work, brother.
Yep, same here.
Listen, brother, I'm going to let you go. We didn't even get to the jelly roll thing. I'll have to save that for a different day.
I love jelly roll, baby.
Your team jelly roll wrestling at SummerSlam?
I can't wait. I love jelly roll.
Oh, God. All right, listen. We'll save those thoughts for a couple of weeks when you're back here on the show. Enjoy your vacation, brother, in the next week, and I will see you before we have you back here on the show in 2 weeks. I'll see you at Boys Day in 9 days. 9 days! We'll see F1.
Sounds good, brother.
See you, Chief. Take care.
All right, see you.
Bye, pal. All right, that was Mr. Marceau. Thanks, as always, for joining. He had to take off for work, so we will continue here with any other things that you guys want to talk about before we go off the air. I know there's been a lot of comments and chats going on, a lot of activity in the chat. Thank you to everyone joining, by the way. Very much appreciate it. I know I haven't been able to read every single chat, but I wanted to get in as much as I could with Mr. Marceau before we had to let him go. I did see Fernando say earlier, just to address his question from earlier in the chat, he asked, what did I think of Superman? We did finally see it on Tuesday. Very much enjoyed it. Loved the movie. We actually all gave it, Alexis and I, and then a few other people that we saw it with, 5 stars. I thought it was a 5-star movie. I thought it was a great movie. Honestly, even better than I thought it would be, and my hopes were already high to begin with. James Gunn, my faith is with you as far as the DC is concerned. The DC universe moving forward. So, yeah, really enjoyed the movie. Thought it was great. Dillon said before, Rhea is way too protected. Yeah, she's a little more protected than she probably needs to be. She doesn't win all of her matches, but there's a lot of matches that she's involved in where she's not pinned. So she's protected, but she loses, but she's protected by not pinning. I mean, I think Mr. Marceau I disagree with as far as, like, I love the Naomi cash-in. We could not be of further opposite ends of the spectrum as far as our thoughts on that are concerned. I thought the execution of it was great, but one thing we do agree on is that Rhea could have taken the pin. I think the only reason why she didn't was because they wanted to justify her being in the match at SummerSlam with Naomi and Io, because it's a sexier match on paper with the three of them as opposed to just Naomi and Io one-on-one for the championship. Eric said, I would have Liv win the Rumble or Chamber and have Stephanie, or if she already lost her title by then, Julia win the other. Oh, okay, so you would have Liv win the Rumble or Chamber, and then the other one that Liv doesn't win, you would have Stephanie win that. I agree with that. I would be fine with that. I don't know what those matches at WrestleMania look like. I don't know if Liv faces Rhea again, which if you reverse the roles, then maybe, but I feel like that's too soon to run that back. But there's that. her and Roxanne's a logical match for when she comes back, battling over custody of the Judgment Day and Dominic and whatnot. Another custody of Dominic match, basically. You could do that. So, yeah, I mean, Stephanie winning the Rumble or Julia would be very cool. I wouldn't complain. But who knows what the landscape of WWE will look like in 6 months' time. Johnny asked, do you want to see Chris versus Willow in a Texas death match? No, I don't. We, first of all, have way too many Texas death matches, including some of which that are not even in Texas. They do Texas death matches. The fucking Swerve and Hangman match was not even in Texas. They had a Texas death match. That was not in Texas. I think back at Full Gear 2023. But how also can you top? They had a great Extreme Rules match, or I'm using WWE terminology here. They had a great street fight, Chicago street fight. I know Alexis saw that. Dillon did too. We all watched it together. They had a great match at All Out last year, and they didn't really do much to capitalize on that. I mean, Willow hasn't really done a whole lot since then. She was feuding with the Death Riders for what felt like forever, and then she went right back to being in a story with Chris Statlander trying to be her friend again, and they haven't really even advanced that. So I would not run those two back in a Texas death match or whatever. I think what we got from them last year was great, and then that was the peak of the feud, and it's been all downhill for both women since, as far as how they've been used. Maria said, Jelly Roll looks like my plumber. What are we doing here? Listen, as far as the Jelly Roll thing is concerned, I am not as big of a Jelly Roll fan as Mr. Marceau, evidently, but I will say that I think him being at SummerSlam is better than some people. Legitimately, I would rather see Jelly Roll wrestle over Travis Scott. I've heard the Travis Scott banter and the rumors about him having a falling out with WWE. I know he's not in the 2K game. He was supposed to be in WWE 2K25 as part of one of the DLC packs, and they had to replace him with fucking El Grande Americano for some reason, because he fell through. Again, talks fell through, a deal fell through, whatever. He obviously wasn't at Money in the Bank as they rumored him to be, or he was supposed to be. I think there was a report that the R-Truth rehiring kind of screwed up those plans, but honestly, he may not have been there anyway, even if the R-Truth thing did not happen. Because I think Travis Scott was supposed to wrestle, so they would have booked Travis Scott to be in the match. That was before R-Truth even got fired, is when they set up that match, that tag match for the main event of Money in the Bank. But anyway, at least Jelly Roll's an actual fan. Do I give a shit about the match? No, I don't care at all. WWE sure loves their celebrity matches. I just feel like they do it more often than they should. And it would be one thing if it was a match that made sense. Quite honestly, if you want to do like Jelly Roll and Logan Paul in an attraction match, I don't know if Jelly Roll can carry a match on his own, which is probably why they're doing a tag match. This just feels like a waste of Orton and McIntyre. Logan Paul at this point is what he is. I don't love Logan Paul. I don't hate Logan Paul. The guy's just kind of there. It kind of feels like they just plug him in these random spots to put people over. And like he beat AJ in a random feud. Then he lost to Jey Uso a month later, which I liked. The idea of him losing to Jey in his first title defense as World Heavyweight Champion, or one of his first title defenses as World Heavyweight Champion. But it just kind of feels like they brought him back just to be in this match because, you know, it's going to be a viral moment, brother, with him and Jelly Roll at SummerSlam. Orton goes from the King of the Ring finals to feuding with Drew again. Like, if it was him and Drew one-on-one, then cool, but we just got that at Saturday Night's Main Event. Very average match, and the commercials didn't help. So, I don't know. I just don't care about the match. The segment on SmackDown, it was well done. What they did at Saturday Night's Main Event was well done. I saw the clip of what happened on the Jimmy Fallon show, I think it was, last night with Orton and McIntyre. Well done. I still don't give a fuck. WWE will get their publicity from it, but I feel like they're too desperate sometimes for that mainstream attention. And it results in matches like this that I just genuinely don't care about. Now, granted, I said the same thing about the Bad Bunny tag match at WrestleMania 37, and that was fucking awesome. The build to that match was terrible, but the match itself was fun, and a lot of people changed their tune on Bad Bunny after that. Now, will I feel the same way about Jelly Roll after SummerSlam? Probably not. He doesn't look like the same athlete that Bad Bunny ended up being. But, you know, maybe they'll surprise me. I don't completely hate it. I just have complete apathy towards that program, and I just feel like Drew and Orton could be doing more. At least they're on SummerSlam. I would just rather see like a McIntyre-LA Knight feud, because LA Knight very likely will not be at SummerSlam this year in any form or fashion. And then Orton, I want him in Rhodes at some point, but Cody's facing John Cena at SummerSlam, so I'm not really sure what you would have done with Orton at SummerSlam. Him and Drew would have been fine if they reversed the roles and had them have a match at SummerSlam, but obviously not. They wanted Logan Paul on the show. They want Jelly Roll on the show. It is what it is. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just don't really care. Eric said Superman was the best DC movie in recent memory. I mean, is that really saying much? I mean, what other riveting DC movies have we had in the last few years? Blue Beetle I thought was good. That's going to be canon going forward, I believe. They're not ditching that. They're not scrapping that. I think that was under the James Gunn ownership or era or whatever. I know like Aquaman 2 dropped during this since James Gunn took over, but that was already underway before he took over. I think Blue Beetle was too, but I think he's keeping Blue Beetle. He's ditching Aquaman. They're using Jason Momoa and another character in the DC moving forward, Lobo. Aquaman 2 sucked. Flash I actually really liked. I'm not going to say I love the movie, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to be completely honest. They didn't get great reviews, I don't think, but I enjoyed Flash when that came out 2 years ago. This was way better than that, though. Way better than Aquaman, way better than Blue Beetle. Justice League, and that was 10 years ago, almost 8 years ago at this point. That movie wasn't good. Easily the best, like any kind of DC movie. Probably the best DC movie of any kind since the last Batman movie. And we're not talking Dark Knight Rises. This was better than that. The best, and I think this was better than this movie too. The Batman, the 2022 Batman. I mean, I think I may have given that 5 stars. I'm not sure. I think this was better than that. The Suicide Squad was great. Eric mentioned, he said it was goodish. I love the Suicide Squad. I thought the second one that James Gunn did, not the first one. I thought the second one was great. That was also 4 years ago. So, yeah, I guess the most recent Batman in 2022, Suicide Squad, and this Superman movie. Probably easily the best 3 DC movies in the past 5 to 10 years. The Snyder Cut shit I did not like. I watched that with Dillon, actually. I didn't really care for that too much personally. What other movies even came out? I saw the first Aquaman years later, but I watched it. Didn't really care for it personally. Did not see the Birds of Prey movie. Not sure how great that was anyway. But, yeah, there's been some good ones in recent years. Do I plan to see Superman for a second time? No. I wouldn't, like, if I was dragged kicking and screaming to see the movie, would I complain? No. But the thing is, this summer, and it's a good problem to have, there's a lot of movies coming out right now. There's a lot of great movies coming out. Superman just came out. I still want to see Megan 2. I know it was not, I've heard and seen the reviews, it was not nearly as good as the first, and they try to change up the formula from the first one. I get it. But because I like the first one, guilty pleasure movie, I still want to see the second one. We still want to see Elio at some point. I'm not sure if we'll have a chance to. I'll just probably wait till that ends up on Disney Plus soon. Typically, it's not a very long turnaround time. But we want to see Elio. I want to see Megan 2.0. I want to see the I Know What You Did Last Summer movie coming out this Friday, actually. If anything, I would probably see it on Tuesday, but I want to see that movie. I want to see Fantastic Four coming out next week. I want to see Freakier Friday coming out next month. I want to see Nobody 2. There's a lot of movies I want to watch before the end of the summer, and they all kind of come out every single week. There's a lot of movies coming out this summer, so no, I probably would not see Superman for a second time. Johnny said, thoughts on movie tickets for Nolan's next movie being released 1 year in advance? That's so fucking excessive. Are people really buying tickets for a Christopher Nolan movie that far in advance? If you want to be like a film snob, then sure. It's for that movie, The Odyssey, that Tom Holland's in. The Punisher's in. I forgot his name. His name is escaping me at the moment. I don't know why, but the actor that plays the Punisher in the show on Netflix, he's going to be in the movie. Among many other people. I don't really, I don't know. I might go see the movie. Oppenheimer, I wasn't like overly excited for, but I was curious to see, and I ended up actually liking it more than I thought I would. I actually thought it was a very good movie. Very well done movie. This Odyssey shit doesn't really interest me at all. Maybe I'll see it just to see what the buzz is about, but I can't say I'm sitting here excited for it. I can't say I'm sitting here overly anticipating buying tickets a year in advance. I'll tell you that much. Maria said, let's hold back on the Texas Death Match. I agree. Eric said, what do you do for Rhea for SummerSlam if she didn't get the opportunity for Naomi's title? Nothing. That's the thing. If Rhea was not in this match, what else do you do with her? She's not facing the Judgment Day again. God forbid. Becky and Lyra are busy. You don't just do her and Bayley out of nowhere. I mean, Rhea had to be in this match, so I understand why they did it the way they did. Would you like to see Liv doing a promo for SummerSlam with it being in her hometown? I think that'd be nice. I feel like it sucks that she's not going to be there because she's from New Jersey. So if she can at least make an appearance, cutting a promo, a quick return. They might want to hold off, though, until she's clear to come back and then save the return for that. But it would suck if she's not in her home state of New Jersey on a show that she was almost guaranteed to be a part of. Johnny said, Tony Khan loves to put money on the line in matches nowadays. Yes, he does. I saw that they're doing another money match. They did one on Dynamite last night. Not money in the sense, oh, that's such a money match, it's a big match. No, like matches where they put money on the line. They had a $100,000 four-way with the women last night. Good match. Didn't mean anything as far as the outcome. And now they're doing a $200,000 four-team tag team match on Collision on Saturday. Again, who gives a shit? Put title shots on the line, not money. That doesn't matter. It's not real. Who cares? Johnny said next year you can do a tier ranking on AEW matches where money was on the line. Yeah, seriously, there's just that many of them. Black Adam was from The Rock. Black Adam was not... I mean, I enjoyed I liked Black Adam because I liked The Rock. That movie was definitely weaker than... It was probably weaker than Blue Beetle. It was definitely weaker than Superman, obviously. Way weaker than Suicide Squad or the Batman movie from 2022. Black Adam was certainly not among the best DC movies in the last couple of years. And it certainly did not live up to its promise of changing the hierarchy of the DC forever. Because he was gone from that hierarchy pretty quickly. Shazam I liked. The first Shazam. The second Shazam, Didn't love the first or the second Shazam. The first one was actually a pleasant surprise as far as how much I enjoyed that movie. The second one, not so much. Dillon said about the Jelly Roll tag team match, it's a complete waste of Orton and Drew. I agree with that. At least they're on the show. That's really all that I can say about it, but it's a match that doesn't... Who gives a fuck who wins? It's all about Jelly Roll and how he can do in the ring. That's really the only appeal of that match at this point. It's for the casuals. It's not for me, but it's for someone. Hopefully they get the attention they want out of it. Johnny said, and the funny thing is, Jelly Roll might end up making more appearances on the road to SummerSlam than Roman Reigns. I don't know if I said this on the air. I think I might have said it to RJ before we went live here. But I saw that tweet that came out that said, oh, Roman Reigns is going to be on every Raw until SummerSlam. Yeah, there's only 2 more fucking shows. There's only 2 more Raws until SummerSlam. No shit he's going to be on every Raw until then. Jelly Roll was on SmackDown last week. Jelly Roll might be on more WWE shows before SummerSlam than Roman fucking Reigns. Johnny said the Batman movie peaked after the Riddler was arrested. The Batman movie peaked at that point? It's a great movie. Nathaniel saw Elio yesterday. Did you like it? I've heard mixed things. Eric said, isn't I Know What You Did straight to streaming? No, it's not. I Know What You Did Last Summer is coming out in theaters. I know that because I saw the movie times come out for next Tuesday. And I'm like, okay, I could plan this out. And, you know, I'm already planning out when I'm going to see it next Tuesday. So, no, I don't think that's not... I think you might be thinking of a series or something. And they came out with a series for that show, or we're going to, and it got canceled. But no, the movie coming out, the first 2 movies are canon. And this most recent upcoming installment is like a legacy sequel. It's like Halloween, really. Like the 2018 Halloween movie where the first movie was canon, the rest were canceled. With this one, the first 2 are canon, and it takes place modern day. So it comes out on Friday. Fernando said Rhea on SmackDown. Yeah, at some point. Not right now, but at some point, yes. Do I want to see Hangman defend the world title against Bobby Lashley, Johnny asked. I would be down for. They got to get Bobby out of the tag division. He's one half of the tag team champions. I'm not going to buy him as a threat to the world title if he's one half of the tag team champions. And if he's busy with the tag titles, he's probably not winning the world title. So it would be a fresh match, but they would have to move the tag titles off of Bobby, which I don't think is happening anytime soon. Nathaniel said, imagine if they made Shazam 3. I don't have to imagine it because I don't think they're going to, nor do I want to. Their biggest mistake as far as that was concerned was not involving Rock and Shazam sooner. I know they wanted like a bigger build to it like Godzilla and King Kong. It just didn't have that sort of hype. The Black Adam movie wasn't great. Shazam 2 wasn't great. And then any interest there died. So they're definitely scrapping it, and as they should. Eric said he'd rather have Jelly versus Logan one-on-one. Quite honestly, I would too. Fernando said, book Jelly Roll in a pie eating contest instead of teaming with Randy. Let's not be mean here. The guy has lost a lot of weight to his credit. He looks very good. He still wants to lose even more weight, he said. Nathaniel said he liked Elio. Okay, good to hear. We do want to see it at some point, but like I said, I don't know if we're going to have a chance. I'd rather see the other movies first, because the thing is, I know what you did last summer, the new one, and Megan 2.0. I don't know where those are going to end up streaming-wise in a couple of months and when. I know the Disney movies are going to be on Disney Plus within fucking a month or two of being in movie theaters. Like Lilo and Stitch, which I've already seen, obviously. I was not waiting until that dropped on Disney Plus to see that. But I know that's going to be on Disney Plus soon. With Elio, if I'm not in a rush to see it, we could just wait until it drops on Disney Plus. If there weren't other movies I wanted to see right now, I would see Elio. But there's other movies I want to see, honestly, a little bit more than Elio, that I care more about than Elio. You can argue, why would you want to see Megan 2.0 in this horror movie that probably will not be good more than Elio? I just don't really care about Elio. It should be a cute movie, but I'd rather see these other two movies first. So, and the thing is with Elio, like I said, it will be on Disney Plus, guaranteed. The other two movies I'm not sure about. Fernando said, looking forward to the return of the Hook Man. Yeah, Hook has been gone. He returned at like Double or Nothing and then disappeared again. It's been very strange. I think he's still out with a concussion or like doing a movie thing or something. I don't know. The Hook experiment, I just don't care about at this point, personally. But, people still like him, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Johnny said, with AEW signing and using CMLL and New Japan wrestlers frequently, I'm not as interested in Forbidden Door as I was in previous years. Yeah, I think that's the case with a lot of people. It just doesn't have the same appeal. It's also like the brand split, It's like if WWE still did Raw versus SmackDown and Survivor Series. We get Raw versus SmackDown match every fucking... Oh, Alexis said, LMAO, no Hookman from the movie. Oh, from I Know What You Did Last Summer? Okay, that makes more sense. I don't know. We did this last time, too. Someone said, oh, I love Hook. I loved Hook. And I thought, why are we talking about Hook the Wrestler? We were talking about Robin Williams movies. That's the second time I mistake. No one's talking about Hook the Wrestler. At this point, I guess no one cares. We're talking about other shit. That's funny. But anyway, with Forbidden Door, it's like if they still did Raw versus SmackDown and Survivor Series. We see Raw versus SmackDown matches every fucking week on television. LA Knight was a Raw wrestler or a SmackDown wrestler in a Raw main event on Monday. Chelsea Green is a SmackDown wrestler in a Raw match on Monday. Shit doesn't matter, but they don't do Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series anymore, so... It's not that it really matters that much, but my point is, with AEW, they do fucking Forbidden Door matches every week. They did Mascara Dorada versus Kyle Fletcher last night. They do the CMLL versus AEW matches so much that it doesn't really matter that they are going to be doing them at Forbidden Door. That Forbidden Door has been busted wide open for so many years now. It's just not as exciting as it once was. Not to mention that New Japan's roster is so fucking depleted from what it once was. That what matches are there really to be had from people in New Japan and AEW that are all that exciting? They took Jay White, they took Ibushi, they took Okada, they took Will Ospreay. I mean, the list goes on and on. They took a lot of their top stars. What big matches do they have at this point that would be remotely interesting? To be perfectly honest with you. Nathaniel said, I think Hurt Syndicate will lose to Cope and Christian later this year or next year. I think so too. I don't think you have to rush that. I think you do Cope and Christian versus FTR first at All Out, and then do them against the Hurt Syndicate either later in the year or early next year. Probably later this year. Who should be Monet's next challenger for the TBS title? Johnny asked. Nick, what's going on over there? Nick saying hello all. Nick, what's going on, my man? Hope you're doing well. We will see you soon for sure. But yeah, next challenger for TBS title, I don't know. I am not sure. I'd have to look at the AEW roster. I don't think we've ever seen Mercedes Moné versus Deonna Purrazzo. I know AEW doesn't give a fuck about Deonna Purrazzo, but I would like to see that. We've already seen Mercedes beat Mina Shirakawa a few times, so probably not Mina. Queen Aminata, we've seen her work with Mercedes before. Tekla's a heel. Julia Hart, Sky Blue. Willow, I know she took the belt from Willow, but honestly, I'd like to see them run that back, to be honest with you. I would love to see her and Willow run it back, and Willow beats her. Chris Statlander, they've also done that before, but I would like to see them do that, and Chris Statlander beats her. They have a deep enough roster where there are options there. I'm just not sure who it is. I think Athena's contract is for Tony's title and not a choice between her and Mercedes, although Mercedes would make sense as well if they ran that back at some point. Maria said, my problem with Shazam is how Billy Batson is a lot smarter than adult version of Shazam. That was my issue with the second movie. The second movie was like, he acted more childish and immature as an adult, and I think that's just an acting thing. I don't know if it was a directing thing. I don't know if it was a Zachary Levi issue. I assume it was, but I just don't know. He acted like a fucking second grader in that second movie, whereas as a kid, quote unquote, as a high schooler, whatever, he acted like a normal high schooler. But as an adult, he acted like a child. It was so strange. I know it's a teenager in an adult's body, but he wasn't acting like that as a teenager, so why would he act like that as an adult? And it was very annoying. His acting choices were very questionable in that second movie. Johnny said, is Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle from WrestleMania 21 still the best Raw versus SmackDown match to date? Probably. But another match that comes to mind, Brock and Daniel Bryan and Brock and AJ Styles. I think those matches give that one a run for its money. But because Shawn and Kurt had a better build and it's probably just a better match in general, I would still go with Michaels and Kurt. I mean, there's plenty of great Raw versus SmackDown matches, but that might take the cake as being the best. And then Johnny said, how about Monet versus Chris versus Willow in a triple threat match? I like that. What worries me is that either Chris or Willow would win without pinning Monet, and that's how Monet loses the championship. I think that's dumb. When Monet loses, she should be beaten for that belt. She got pinned by Tony on Saturday. So why should she not get pinned for the belt as opposed to not being pinned for it? She's not above being pinned for her championship, especially a reign that is a year and a half long. I mean, she's held the belt now since fucking May of last year. It's not a year and a half, but it's well over a year. You don't end a run like that with her not getting pinned. So I like the match, but Monet would have to win. And then maybe you set it Monet and Chris again or Monet and Willow again based on what happens there. I think it would be their third encounter regardless of who she faces. I think she and Chris had 2 matches late last year, so it would be Monet and Statlander 3. And I think Monet and Willow have had 2 matches as well. The one at Double or Nothing last year and then the one in New Japan where they fought for the Strong Women's Championship. A match that Monet was supposed to win, actually, but Willow had to win because Mercedes got hurt. So, yeah, I think that's about all. For those just joining now, Mr. Marceau was here earlier. We did a lot of conversation about a lot of what happened over the weekend at All In, Evolution, Saturday night's main event, Raw on Monday. Got his quick thoughts at the end there before he had to take off on Jelly Roll Wrestling at SummerSlam, for those that give a shit about Jelly Roll Wrestling at SummerSlam. Mr. Marceau does. We talked a little bit there about Roman Reigns returning on Raw, what he does at SummerSlam, if the match interests him. Seth Rollins, is he actually hurt? There, Mr. Marceau is in the chat saying EO got screwed. We talked a lot about that for those interested. EO Sky, was she screwed at Evolution when she was not pinned? Or she was pinned, but just wasn't in a one-on-one match for the Women's World Championship with Rhea Ripley and Naomi. Naomi is the new champion. We had a lot to say about that. Mr. Marceau saying Jelly Roll, big Jelly Roll fan is Mr. Marceau. So he's excited to see him wrestle at SummerSlam. We had a lot to say about that. We talked some other stuff that happened at Evolution. We talked the All In stuff, Adam Page, new AEW World Champion. We talked about Goldberg retiring and how his last match actually went better than expected. I had positive things to say about it, as did RJ, which is why I don't really understand all the complaining from Goldberg. I said this earlier to Mr. Marceau. I get why Goldberg's upset about his speech being cut off. What I don't really understand is his complaints about, they should have announced it sooner. I mean, yeah, they announced it on a month build. But that's all that match needed to be. If it was longer, they could have done it in a SummerSlam, but he didn't want to wrestle in fucking New Jersey. Didn't want to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. So it kind of had to be a Saturday night's main event. They weren't going to book SummerSlam in Atlanta for Goldberg. I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen. He's lucky he's even getting that match. And if he did wrestle at SummerSlam, the show would not have revolved around him like it did at Saturday night's main event. The guy, I mean, if it wasn't already evident, and I like Goldberg, he complains for the sake of complaining. Just be fucking grateful they even gave you a last match. And I'm not here to say, I'm a bootlicker for WWE, because I agree. I feel like they fucked him over with that speech. They could have timed the match better, shave off 5 minutes that were not necessary, and give him those 5 minutes to talk, and then do the, I saw Cody Rhodes came out and said something to him, which was cool because Cody's from Atlanta. But you could do that after the show. Goldberg's speech should have made the show. That I agree with. But everything else that he's complaining about, I just don't understand. He's like, the world title stuff didn't do anything for me. Then what the fuck did you want? What did you want? He would sing if it wasn't for a world title, if it was a random undercard match, he would feel like an afterthought. He was the main event of its own show for a 14-minute match. His longest match in almost over 20 years. I just don't know what the man wants, aside from getting his speech cut off, which, again, I get. Everything else I just don't understand. I saw Peter Rosenberg going off on him. I saw Dave LaGreca ranting about him. I mean, that was a little extreme. But it just his complaints about all this other shit that just really does not matter. It was just stupid. He was like, oh, yeah, we knew last year that we were doing this match. Why not announce it in January? January? Why the fuck would they announce it in January if they were doing the match in the summer? Bill, get a grip. It doesn't make any sense. Like Mr. Marceau said earlier, and like he just said there in the chat, Goldberg needs to go away. That's the funniest thing, too. I mean, this guy just can't help himself. He just can't help himself. He said at the end of his speech, he goes, oh, you haven't seen the last of me, all this other shit. And then he said I died. He said in his speech at Saturday Night's Main Event, he goes, oh, I'm not going away by any measure of the imagination. Not that he'll be back in the ring, but like he'll do other stuff with WWE. Turns around 2 days later on Ariel Helwani's show. Yeah, I don't foresee myself doing anything with WWE in the near future. Then why the fuck would you even say that? Like, you know what I mean? It was very strange. Johnny said Goldberg would have been treated better in AEW. I mean, that was his choice. He could have had a last match there. Tony Khan, I'm sure, extended the invitation. Goldberg has confirmed that. They are friendly. They have both said that. Goldberg then shit on the idea of going to AEW. I think Goldberg's WWE or retirement match should have happened in WWE. That's where he would get the best send-off. He's not Sting. I know he's a WCW guy, and Tony Khan has a lot of respect for the WCW guys. That's what he grew up watching. I get it. But Sting has always kind of felt like the outsider to WWE. Like, yeah, I enjoyed Sting's run for as much of a fucking disaster some of that stuff was. That wasn't his fault, but him getting hurt, losing at Mania, it was just ridiculous. He should have faced Taker at Mania. Sting's run was all over the place in WWE. But honestly, it was more fitting that Sting's last run came elsewhere outside of WWE because he was a WCW guy. And for so many years, he didn't go to WWE. He was in TNA. He was in TNA for over a decade, was Sting. And he had a very good run there too. So why would he retire in WWE? It would have been cool. I wouldn't have complained. I'm glad we got 5 years or whatever it was, 4 years of Sting in AEW. It ended up being a great run. Goldberg's not Sting, though. Sting was out there wrestling on TV. He was out there doing hardcore matches. Goldberg wouldn't have done any of that shit. He would have said, that doesn't work for me, brother. He would have wanted to win. I mean, and he's not even the same. Like, Sting is significantly older than Goldberg by like 7 or 8 years. 7 or 6, 8 years. And he still looked way better in the ring than Goldberg has in the last 10 years. Sting was having actual matches. Goldberg would have wanted to wrestle probably for fucking titles, and Tony Khan would have said, no thanks. Again, part of the appeal with Goldberg is the entrance, the music. Like with Sting, it is part of that appeal. I've seen that before, like, oh, Goldberg should have retired in AEW. It just wouldn't have been the same. It really wouldn't have been. They would have gotten similar music, but it wouldn't have been the same. They had the footage of all of his stuff in WWE, which I guess they did with Sting, but Sting has always felt like an outsider in WWE. Goldberg was an outsider in WWE too. But like he had that whole return run there, and I don't know. Could they made the most of it, made it work? Sure. I'm not sure if Bill would have wanted to make it work. He probably would have wanted a stupid amount of money to do very little and have matches that, against fucking Adam Cole. I mean, give me a break. What match would Goldberg even have in AEW that would make any sort of sense? Aside from Wardlow circa 2022, when the guy felt like their version of Goldberg, and they dropped the ball on him too, what makes you think any match with Goldberg would have made people give a shit, especially after some of the awful matches he's had in WWE in the last decade? It's not like when Edge went there, people didn't care because Edge's WWE return run sucked. No, Edge's return run was very good. It was great. I enjoyed it. So him having other matches in AEW was cool. The idea of that was cool. Goldberg, I had no interest in that whatsoever. Who the fuck, just enlighten me, who the fuck would Goldberg have wrestled in AEW that would have made the slightest bit of sense and have made any sort of money whatsoever? Him and Kenny Omega? I mean, come on. Kenny Omega can wrestle circles around that man in his sleep, but I doubt the match would be any good. Him and Sting, give me a break, obviously, but Sting didn't even wrestle any singles matches in AEW. I'm not even really sure who it would have been. MJF? No. He would have destroyed MJF. Chris Jericho? Absolutely not. God, that would have been terrible. RJ also said earlier he got a main event on a show booked around him in his hometown and had the best match he's had in forever. I agree, and he still complains. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't get it. Like, he said he did appreciate certain aspects of the retirement, but he sounded more salty about it than he was appreciative. And that's the part about it to me that just doesn't make sense. Johnny said Goldberg wanted a 30-minute match and a 20-minute talking segment. Imagine that. I mean, the match already went 14 minutes as it was, which is kind of shocking. And he did well. I mean, I thought he held his own. Would he have wanted more? I wouldn't be surprised. Fernando said Goldberg and Bret Hart are more alike than the both of them would like to admit. I mean, what way? I mean, Bret Hart does, he's bitter about some stuff, but he doesn't. What does he complain about? Goldberg ending his career? Quite honestly, I can't say I blame him, because that should have never happened. That was ridiculous. Goldberg was reckless. But Bret Hart, he's not like, oh yeah, you know what? I want one more match built around me, blah, blah, blah. His fucking career ended unceremoniously. First of all, Bret Hart has more talent in his fucking left nut than Goldberg does in his entire body. Again, I like Goldberg, but that's just the truth. Even Bret Hart did not get a proper send-off. Bret Hart will go down, I believe, as having had his final match ever, on a random Raw, and I shit you not, I think the last time Bret Hart technically wrestled in WWE was on a random Raw in Mexico with John Cena in a tag match against Alberto Del Rio and Ricardo fucking Rodriguez. Does anyone even remember that? He may have had a match in 2012 doing something. I don't think he did, though. Like, I say match in quotation marks. But he did have a handful of matches being back in WWE from 2010 through 2011. He wrestled at SummerSlam. I say wrestled again, but he had a match at SummerSlam, WrestleMania. He won the United States Championship from The Miz. That is something that happened, by the way. You don't see him complaining about not having a proper send-off. Like, fuck off. Fernando said, retiring where you never worked makes no sense. I mean, yeah, if he had like a retirement, like if he had a run in AEW like Sting did, then sure. But if you're saying Goldberg would have one more match, and that one more match would be in AEW, first of all, now absolutely fucking not. But if it was one match a few years ago, no. Like, if it was for, like, if he showed up and speared Wardlow or did something with there, like, that would have been cool. Goldberg versus Big Bill, I feel bad for Big Bill. Goldberg versus Max Caster, if it was a 2-second squash, then sure. What's my favorite Goldberg match of all time, Johnny asked? Probably him and Brock from WrestleMania 33, because I was there for that one. It was a great match. It was easily the best Goldberg match. First of all, one of the best matches he's ever had. Not the best match, because he's also had very good matches with DDP and Macho Man, I want to say. With the two of them, he had very good matches in WCW. Obviously, the Hogan match. I don't know if I've ever seen that from start to finish. My favorite Goldberg match is the Brock match from Mania 33, because I was there for it, and it was a very good match. It was a great sprint. Johnny said Goldberg versus Darby Allin Texas Death Match. Absolutely not. Rank these technical wrestlers of all time. Bryan Danielson, Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, Zack Sabre Jr. Bret Hart, I'd probably go number 1. Then Danielson, then Kurt, and then Zack Sabre Jr. I like Zack Sabre Jr. He's just very boring and dry to me personally. I've liked the guy. I think the guy's a great wrestler. I would love to watch the other guys work more. They're just more interesting and entertaining to me than Zack Sabre Jr. So I probably would go, again, Bret Hart, Danielson, Kurt, and then Zack Sabre Jr. Nathaniel said, I don't remember, and I think he also tagged with Cena against Edge and Jericho. Yeah, he probably did on Raw in 2010. He had a handful of matches. When he came back in 2010, Bret Hart had a handful of matches. So that would not surprise me. But yeah, I think that's about it. There was a lot of wrestling this weekend. I am still fucking exhausted, so I will recover soon. Hopefully I'll be back on the mend. I'm actually pretty caught up, which is shocking. I was caught up with all the wrestling over the weekend. The only review that is not out yet is the Dynamite review, and it's pretty much done. I did watch the show last night. I thought it was a good show. Not an amazing show, not exactly their post-WrestleMania Raw. They did set some stuff up, have good matches. I thought it was a good show. Could have been stronger, but still good. That review will be up on WrestleRant.com shortly, so keep an eye out for that. But the day is still young. July 17th, 2025, as they mentioned to start the stream here today. It is CM Punk Day. It's clobbering time, folks. 14 years since Money in the Bank 2011. One of the greatest pay-per-views in WWE history and one of the greatest matches in WWE history between John Cena and CM Punk. Got to go back, as I do every year, and rewatch that instant classic. I think I've watched that back on every anniversary of that show. God, probably since it happened. Not in 2012, I don't think. I was on vacation the anniversary the first time, but I think 2013 I definitely did. 2014 I definitely did. 2015 I did. 2016 I did. 2017 I think I did. Yeah, I watched that match back. I know I did last year. 3 years ago, I think I watched back the entire show from start to finish. 2 years ago, I'm not sure if I did or not. I may have. I probably did. But I try to make it a tradition to rewatch at least the match back, maybe the entire show every year. And I might just do that a little bit later on today. So yeah, folks, that's about it. Mr. Marceau said there, rather, at the end of the episode before we had to take off, that he will not be here next week. He is on vacation. So Mr. Marceau, enjoy your vacation. You have deserved it, my friend. I will be seeing him next Saturday for Boys Day. And also to see F1. We'll be seeing F1 together. So that's another movie I'll be seeing as well that I'm looking forward to. So I'll be flying solo very likely here on the show next week unless something changes. So keep an eye out for that. New episodes of the show every single Thursday. You can find new episodes on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, right here on YouTube in video form. We sometimes go live in the morning, sometimes go live in the afternoon. Always changes, so be sure to turn on notifications to never miss out on a live episode of the show. But as the show airs on video form here on Thursday mornings, Thursday afternoons, it's also available in podcast form later on in the day on every major podcast platform that you can find. Apple, Spotify, Pandora, all the usual podcast platforms. Find the show, rate the show, review the show, subscribe to the show, all that stuff, greatly appreciated. Once more, shout out to our channel members, Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Dillon DiGiacomo, who was here earlier, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve 1, Daniel Malcolm, RJ Marceau, John Ritland, Richie, and Average Grunt. Shout out to you all. Average Grunt not making the appearance here today. I know he had a lot to say about the weekend that was. You'll probably watch after the fact and drop me a tweet or a comment or something. But he was tweeting a lot to Mr. Marceau and I, which was great. We were all in contact about who was winning and enjoy the shows and who's going to lose today and all this other shit. Now he was looking forward to the show here today. And hopefully you get to watch after the fact, my friend. But anyway, if you want to sign up for a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel membership, only $5 a month. Get to shout-outs just like that at the beginning and end of every single live stream that we do here on the channel. You also get top billing and hashtag AskGSM with your questions. And right here on WrestleRant Radio with your comments and topics. If you have something you want me to talk about first, you get top billing. You get first dibs as a channel member. You also get emojis and badges in the live chats for every single one of these live streams. Early and ad-free access to certain videos here on the channel, including WrestleRant Radio excerpts and so much more, and a lot of other perks. So consider signing up for a channel membership today. You also get a great badge next to your name, like I said earlier. More information on that in the description box down below. More episodes of episodes available of WrestleRant Radio down below in the description box for those interested. And at the very least, if you want to support the show, check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store. I know there was a Pro Wrestling Tees 4th of July sale going on a couple of weeks ago. Not now, I don't think, but you can go ahead and support the show by buying a shirt. We have a WrestleRant shirt, a WrestleRant Radio shirt, maybe just WrestleRant. I don't think it's WrestleRant Radio, but you can buy a WrestleRant shirt, WrestleRant Halloween, WrestleRant Christmas, all available right now, courtesy of Alexis, right now at ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestleRant. And at the very least, like this video, subscribe. If you're watching now or after the fact and have not yet liked the video, what are you waiting for? What the hell are you waiting for? Like the video. It really helps. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And be sure to hit the notification bell on your way out if you haven't already. You'll be notified every single time we go live here on the channel, and you'll get notified every single time I upload new content. Nathaniel taking off saying, bye, go Patriots, Lakers, and Yankees. Thank you, Nathaniel, for joining us, and everyone else in the chat as well. Fernando said, are the watch-alongs still happening? Go Mets. LGM, baby. Are the watch-alongs still happening? Yes. I don't know when we'll do one next. It's just been a very busy summer so far. I'm not sure when the next watch-along we're going to do is. Honestly, if I wasn't live right now, you know what I was going to say? I was going to say I could do a watch-along for Money in the Bank 2011 tonight on the anniversary? We already did that. I already did that 5 years ago. Alexis and I rewatched the entire pay-per-view, I think, in a live stream here on the channel, so I wouldn't do it again. So I take that back. I would not be doing that later. But yeah, I personally prefer to rewatch old content for watch-alongs as opposed to current shows. Usually when the current shows are going on, I'm doing work and eating and other stuff. I'm just trying to do a million things at once, especially not this past weekend. That would have been bad. All In had me all, like, just fucking all out. It had me all out in my, just like laying out in the chair as far as how long that show was. And then I watched Saturday Night's Main Event right after that. Great American Bash, Evolution the next day, Super Card of Honor I had to catch up on. It was a very busy weekend. Fulfilling weekend, enjoyable weekend, but a busy weekend. So I would not do a watch along there. But, you know, the next time I have a chance and I don't have a lot going on, for a live show we might do one. But very likely if we do a watch along, it will be for classic content. Maybe for something you guys can recommend me, whether it be a match you guys want to watch. If it's an old show, it would probably have to be a shorter one, like a takeover or something. I'm not really high on the idea of watching like a 4-hour fucking pay-per-view. We did do one for WrestleMania earlier this year. That was a lot of fun, but it's just very time-consuming. So I don't know. If there's something you guys would like to see me live stream, let me know and we can consider it for the future. But I think that's about it, folks. Again, thank you so much for tuning in live, as always. Thank you to Mr. Marceau for joining for most of the episode before we had to take off earlier. He will be gone next week, I believe. He's on vacation, so hopefully he enjoys that, and he'll be back in 2 weeks here on the show, I'm sure, as they head out to SummerSlam, hopefully, if I'm going. I'm not even really sure yet. The whole process is very last minute. But until then, folks, have an awesome one. We'll be live next year on the channel on Tuesday for the next edition of #AskGSM, bearing any last-minute shocking news over the weekend. I will very likely not be live this weekend. But like I said, you just never know. So be sure to turn on those notifications just in case. But until next time, guys, enjoy July 17th. Have an awesome rest of CM Punk Day. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Have an awesome one, folks. I'll catch your ass down the road.
Join Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau every Thursday as they run down their weekly wrestling rants, offer expert analysis, host exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe today on all your favorite podcast platforms and never miss an episode of WrestleRant Radio.